Hi all, I'm here today to talk about how to support a loved one in prison. If you have a son, daughter, friend, girlfriend, boyfriend who's recently gone to prison or is looking at a prison sentence, I think this is a good video to watch because you can learn about how to further support them. I've seen a lot of people on support groups asking for help and not really knowing what to do and where to go next. I've been in prison myself and I've been around the prison system for a little while, so I'm kind of think that I can give some advice on this topic. So the first organisation is Email a Prisoner. It's literally www.emailaprisoner.co.uk, I think. And what it is, it's a email based system where you can email your loved one inside. You put credit onto your email account and it gets to them much quicker than a letter. I would say within 24 to 48 hours if the prison have their stuff together. It's quite cheap. It's about 43 pence to send email, and you can also attach pictures, and you can also send a reply sheet, and those are for like an extra 20-30 pence each. So it is really good. My mum used Email a Prisoner and I think it really did help her whilst I was in prison. And like I say, it's a little bit cheaper than going to the post office and getting stamps, and it's a bit more guaranteed because you can see the email that you've sent and you can have it saved like on your account. So that's a good way. Emailaprisoner.co.uk. Everything I talk about in this video I will list down below at the bottom so you can check out the site for yourself and have a look. Second is letters. So you can send letters, normal letters as well. Make sure on every single letter that you send you put the prison number and the prison name, otherwise it could get lost, it won't get to them, things happen inside. You can send stamps in the letters, and you can send also like your own reply sheet, so lined paper, plain paper, for your loved one to write back to you. Now, as I say, Email a Prisoner is a little bit more secure, but if you want a bit more of a personal touch, to put your own handwriting on it, spray a bit of perfume, some people do, so they remember your smell. It is a good way to communicate with them as well. Just remember, if you do spray perfume on the letter, it might take a little bit longer to get to them because they like to give that to the dogs and let the dogs check, unless you're not doing any kind of funny business with it. But yeah, you can send letters, and you can also send pictures in the letters and draw pictures and whatever you wish, really. It's quite a good way. It's quite a nice touch for a prisoner to wake up in the morning and get something from you. Next, there's a service called Prisoner Voicemail. I don't know if that's the exact title, but it's basically Prisoner Voicemail. You get a phone number to ring and they have a PIN number. You can leave a voicemail on it at any time and then they can pick it up. They can't always pick it up whenever, because if the phone's not in the cell, it will be when they come out in the room. But if you work like really varied shifts or you're always missing phone calls from your loved one, it's quite a good way for you to be able to leave a message and then they can pick it up, and they can also leave a message for you. It's also quite good for kids because you can't call your loved one, they can only call you. So if your kids want to talk to their dad or leave a nice message for him or her, then it's quite good. I think it's not expensive, but it is a costly service, so you would have to put some money on the voicemail and then you could start leaving your voicemails. Some people use this, some people don't use this. I personally didn't use it because I always called at a certain time in the evening and my parents knew when I was going to call and they was able to pick it up. But again, it's just a nice touch if you wanted to do that. Next, we have Jail Telly or Prison Neat Phone. One of the most aggravating things about prison is the cost of the phone calls. They're so expensive. If you was to call a mobile phone for about half an hour, it would cost £1.30 to £1.50, and this is just so expensive. Your credit will run out so quickly. So what I did was I gave my mum a website which was geltelly.co.uk. Again, I'll link it at the bottom. And you can get a landline number which converts your mobile to a landline, and then when they call the landline, it's much cheaper. You have to pay for the service again, but it's not that expensive. It was about £12 for 250 minutes, and that 250 minutes lasted me a really long time, speaking to my mum every day. A phone call for about an hour was about 50p, as opposed to £1.30. So you can see how you start to save money with this service. Yeah, Gel Telly is one of the good ones, but they also have other websites. So shop around, see what works good for you. And yeah, it's just a way to kind of save money and have more talk time with your loved ones, especially if they have a phone in cell. They can ring you anytime that they want. So it's a good service, I think. Next, we have one of my personal favourites, which is Gelmates Cards, gelmatescards.co.uk, I think. It's UK again, any prison in the UK. They do birthday cards, Valentine's cards, romance cards, Christmas cards, and then just I miss you cards and I love you cards, which are really nice to keep somebody's spirits up while they're inside. They cost about £2.50 to £3, and delivery is 60p. And every time I've used this service, the card has always got to the person, and it's always gone really fast. So I posted the card once on a Friday and they got it on a Sunday morning, so it is quite quick. And it's kind of nicer than just going to like Card Factory or to the corner shop and buying a birthday card, because it's a little bit more personalised to the fact that they're inside, you know, especially the I miss you ones. And it's really nice to kind of receive that and know that you are thinking about them. So that's one of my favorite services to use. And like I said again, it's relatively inexpensive to use. Another one of my favorites is Free Prints. So you might have seen the adverts everywhere. You can get free pictures. You can go on your phone or you can go on your laptop and get pictures sent to you or sent to anybody else. Most prisons that I know, I've not found one that doesn't accept it yet. Most prisons accept free prints directly to them. So you can go online, you can pick your pictures that you want to send to your family member and get it delivered to them. Bear in mind, this is called free print, so the prints are free. Up to 44 images are free, and then you have to just pay for the delivery, which is about £2.99. And yeah, your loved one is allowed pictures inside. Some prisons are funny about them having pictures of themselves, but once you're sending it in, they're not really going to know what they look like, if that makes sense. So you can send them. And again, service and delivery has always been quick for me when I have sent them through. So yeah, that's one of my favorites. Up to 44 you can have, and if you want to pay more and add extra, then you can do that as well. It's just a nice touch to have pictures to look at when you're inside, and just again a reminder that you are thinking of them, and so that they can think of you also. Next is just an overview of what you could send. I might do another video on in depth what you can send, but for now you can send books to almost any prison, as long as they're not explicit books and 18 plus books. I don't think there's any like 18 plus books, but not explicit books, and not any books about that prison that they're in. So for example, there was a doctor who wrote a Bronzefield book, and I wasn't allowed to have that book, security reasons, whatever they say. Yeah, so you can send in books, you can send in unlimited underwear, boxers, socks, any time of the year, all year round. Flood them with underwear and socks, because that's the one thing that you are allowed, as I say, unlimited. Most prisons, again, you would have to take closed parcels. So in the first 28 days that your loved one goes inside, you can send a closed parcel, 10 tops, 10 bottoms, again, underwear and socks, tracksuits, a couple of pairs of trainers, shower shoes, things like that. And they get one of those closed parcels once a year. Some prisons are a bit more lenient. And for example, Bronzefield, again, as I say, that's where I was, so it's the kind of only one I can compare to. You could get clothes any time of the year, so you could send in a parcel anywhere, and you can send it from Boohoo, Pretty Little Thing, JD, and it goes directly to the prison. And what your loved one would do was swap out whatever clothes they had at reception, so you could send as much as you wanted, basically. But again, you'd have to phone the prison to make sure. I don't know the ins and outs of everything. Another one, depending on the prison, is radios and DVD players. You can send radios depending on the prison, and DVD players, but basic ones. So with DVD player, no Bluetooth, no USB drives, ports, and no Wi-Fi connections to it. And radios, basic radios. Music in prison is a luxury. I say luxury as in it's something that we really like to have. So if you can send in a radio, you can get them like £10 off Argos, and send it in. Bear in mind, some prisons take from Argos and take from Amazon. Some prisons don't. Bronzefield don't take Amazon. So again, check with the prison before you send anything, because it starts becoming a hassle when you need it to get sent back. The same goes for CDs and DVDs, as long as they're under 18. So 15s, 12s, PGs and Us are fine, but 18 and 18 plus, don't know why you are not allowed. And again, check with the jail whether they accept the CDs and the DVDs. Another thing you can send is crosswords, word searches, any like kind of brain activity games you can send. Just try to, if you do send those, get the ones that are like in the paper notebook form, instead of going to the shop and getting like the magazine ones, because again, the prisons only take magazines and newspapers from a certain prison. And again, if you wanted to send more things, you can contact the prison and see what company they use for the newspapers and magazines, and you can create a subscription and send those to your loved ones every week. I remember there was a prison that did the Sun and the Daily Mail and the Daily Express, and they did those every week on a Saturday and Sunday, and a lot of prisoners were kind of really wanting the newspaper, so that's something good that you can send in to them. Moving on to visits, you can now book visits. Yay! Of course, with the pandemic, there's been no visits, and it's been so frustrating, but I think we're finally working to a place where you can have visitors. So what I would suggest is tell your loved one to add you as a visitor onto their visitor system. They can either do this on a pod machine, a kiosk, they've got many different names for it, depending on which jail you go to, or in a paper format. And they just create a visiting order for that person. You need name, address, date of birth, telephone number, and the basics. When you come to visit, you would need a form of ID, driving license or passport, and don't come in anything inappropriate. Short skirts, short skirts, short shorts, short dresses, crop tops, ripped jeans even sometimes are a bit funny. It's just not worth it. You'll get turned away and you won't get to have your visit. Yeah, I think the food places aren't open at the moment, but they will be shortly. I'm pretty sure they'll get to be opening soon. So usually you could bring money in note or change form, no bank cards, and you would be able to like buy snacks and stuff with your loved one. Also, another thing they've been doing with COVID is purple visits. So this is just like a video call, and this is what I had because I was quite far anyway, and it was COVID, so there was no visits. And it's just basically like you're FaceTiming. You would download the app Purple Visits. You can get it on Android or an iPhone, and put in your details, verify yourself, and then your loved one would ask for a purple visit, and then that could all get set up. And it's a great way if one, you're self-isolating, or you really want to be careful, you don't like visiting prisons, or you live really far away. I don't think purple visits is something they will get rid of now that they have it. I think a lot of people will still use it, even though the pandemic and the restrictions are lifting and slowly getting back to normal. Yeah, it's a good way to keep contact with your loved one. People really, really do enjoy visits, and people really, really enjoy going to see their loved one and just making sure they're okay, seeing that they're well, seeing that they're healthy, and it's a really kind of nice experience to experience. Next is if you want to send a prisoner money, you can go to gov.uk/send a prisoner money. It gets to them within 3 days. You can do bank card, and you just need to know their date of birth, their prison number, and their name. You can also do postal orders if you don't own a laptop or a computer or a bank card. You can go to the post office, ask for a postal order, write all their details on it, name, prison number, date of birth even, and address it to the governor of that prison and write how much you want. You can do that also. Again, it costs money, but prisoners use money for phones to call you, and also just to buy luxuries. Like I bought things like hair stuff, and I mean, you can see I need hair stuff because I'm a girl. And hair stuff, you can buy makeup and things as such. If you have a daughter in prison, it's quite nice to be able to buy little luxuries like that. So yeah, you can send money, and it's just an easy way for them to be able to buy things. Now to come on to ways to support them without having to spend any money. If you really, really are on a budget, you can join a support group. I can't stress this enough. For you to have a loved one to go inside, it's such a horrible situation. And there's so many questions. There are other people that haven't gone through the situation that you're going through now. So I do say join a support group. There's a lot of amazing people out there that can help you and that can answer your questions and just make you feel a little bit more at ease about your situation and relate to the situation that you're in as well. So there's support groups on Facebook. There's parent and son. I don't know the exact name, but there's that for parents who have children in prison. There's another one, ex-prisoners support group. It's got like a orangey creamy logo, but that's UK and America, so you might not get the direct information that you need. Then there's PACT, which is like a charity / organisation that are for families with loved ones inside. You can go on their website. Again, I'll link it down below, and just a bit more information, things that you might need to know. And then you also have Prisoner Family Helpline. You can call the helpline. They answer more questions about wide range of things: custody procedures, release procedures, recall procedures. Because if you don't know about the system, there is so much information that you would want to know or would need to know. And they're a good helpline, and they're also there just as a listening ear if you need somebody to talk to. So yeah, support group, support you will need, because if you're not in a good place mentally as well, your loved one will feel it. They will know, and it will. It's just better to be more strong together and be able to face this with other people than just by yourself. Lastly, in terms of physical support, just be there for them. When they call, if you can answer the phone, just answer the phone, have a chat, tell them about your day. I know a lot of people are very wary to tell their loved one inside about what they was doing that day because they don't want to make them upset. But I personally loved hearing about what my family got up to, what my friends got up to. It's just something to take your mind off it and just kind of at least be involved a little bit, because it's so isolating being in prison. You're away from so many things. You're away from social media, you're away from just a phone call away to your relatives. So it's quite nice to hear about somebody's day. And yeah, just have a chat and be there for them. If you can send them letters when you can. If you can send them pictures, cards and things, like I said, then do that. And another thing is encourage them to be more proactive. 23-hour bang up is no joke. It does happen everywhere, in every prison, and especially with staffing, because staffing never want to stay. Prison's not a nice place to work. Staffing don't want to stay, and when the staffing level drops, that means that they don't come out. People don't come out. There were many times where it was a Sunday and I was not allowed out because there was no staff. You just got your basic exercise and that's it. So if there's a day or there's a time where your loved one's feeling a little bit demotivated, just give them words of encouragement to get up and do one thing in the day that they enjoy. I used to enjoy watching Family Guy at evening, and I also used to enjoy doing puzzles. You can get puzzles from the library and books from the library if you can't afford to send any in. So yeah, that was the kind of way I kept myself sane. And encourage them to eat well, and there's a lot of junk food, so just try and encourage them to eat well and take that exercise outside. There are some people that don't like to go outside. I personally didn't really like to go outside because you just looked at these big gates and walls and it was just a bit depressing. But if it's a really nice hot day, just mention, why don't you go outside? It does wonders for your mental health, especially if you go out and have a chat with other people on the exercise yard. Finally, the last thing I will say is don't judge them. You may be so confused, have so many questions, don't know why they've done what they've done, don't know how they've got to where they've got to in this stage in their life, but just don't judge them, because they've already been judged by the judge, the jury, maybe even the media, and themselves. Most people are the hardest on themselves, so they really don't need any negative energy from anybody else. If you have questions about why they've done what they've done or how they've got there, don't be afraid to ask the questions, but don't be surprised if they don't know the answers yet. They may not know the answers for a long time, until they've done some self development. And sometimes, being judgmental is not what somebody needs. So that's one of the most important things I would say, is just support them, encourage them, and don't judge them. And make sure you get support for yourself, because that is also what you need. This is a hard situation to go through. Not everybody in life goes through it. So, and your loved one could be facing a long time, could be facing a little time, I don't know. But it is important for you to also seek help and also seek support. And as much advice as you can. There are extensive websites with numerous information about a loved one inside. So there are things there for you to be able to go and read up on. So that's the end of this video. I hope you found it helpful. I will link everything I spoke about in the description box down below, as I said, and I may think about doing another video on everything you can bring to prison. And I will definitely do a video on my experience in Bronzefield, because it's the largest UK women's prison. Everybody talks about it, but nobody knows a lot about it. So like and subscribe, and check out my other ones when they come. Thanks for listening. Bye.